What's up, everyone? Back here for another dumpster talk. Today we have another guest with us. We have Doug Groff, works in business development at Scenic Ridge. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for the invite, guys. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
first podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We
let's get
appreciate you
into it.
coming
Yeah.
on.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity, guys. You do a great job with this. It's fantastic. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I know we met down in Columbia before, and we've been waiting to get you on here, but we had a little hiatus with the new equipment and everything coming in, so we appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
So we always start off the podcast with like a little background on yourself before your professional career. So I think you grew up in this area from what I've heard. So
I did. So I grew up in Mannheim, graduated from Mannheim Central, and then moved to Strasbourg for 10 years. And I've been in E-Town for 16 years. So I live in E-Town with my wife. We have a son who's going to be 12 next week, and our daughter is 9. So when I am not at work, I am typically coaching a sport. Baseball is my sport, so I am typically coaching youth baseball for the E-Town Bears Club when I am not on when I'm not working. So I love it. It's just so much fun to coach kids, and just my thing is when they're on a baseball field or on whatever type of sports field, they're not in front of a screen. They're active, forming relationships, improving their skills. They're just having fun. So that's
Yeah.
what I really love to do when I'm not.
so baseball is your favorite sport?
Baseball is my sport. I'm a football fan too, but baseball is my sport. I'm a Baltimore fan, so Orioles and Ravens. So we the Ravens did not fare so well this year, but next year
They'll be back. You got Lamar, so you're in good shape.
we'll see.
I'm a
Lamar,
Giants fan, so
Are you?
yeah, so I can't say the same.
Sorry,
for myself.
sorry. Well, and a Nose fan too. We haven't been in the World Series since 1983. So I've been saying next year for the past, what is that, 40 years. So
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm also a Yankees fan.
Oh,
so,
nice.
Yeah, it's been and a Penn State fan, so we're
Nice.
just losing everything. So.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. It's a fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I saw that on your LinkedIn as well, volunteering baseball. So I'm happy we covered that. How did you kind of get into your professional career at Scenic Ridge? What was that kind of passion?
Great question. So I started my career out of college actually doing residential construction lending. So I started in banking. Had some great opportunities when I was younger, right out of college. Had some awesome mentors, and actually I still keep in touch with today. So I was really fortunate to have some great people who really poured into me and gave me opportunities and really mentored me as a young man, just professionally and personally as well. So I was in residential construction lending for about 12 years. And then I switched and went into commercial construction. So I joined a commercial builder and learned the ropes in commercial building. And I was in a business development role. Even in my days in banking, I was always building connections, meeting people, because that's something you really need to do for your professional career. So I always was doing that. But I had a true business development role with a commercial builder. Was there for about 3 years, and I joined a residential builder. So I was on the residential side, and I was director of sales of an entire sales team. Did some renovations, so that was a ton of fun. And then I joined Scenic Ridge a little over a year ago, in a fully business development role. Wanted to get back into commercial construction, and Scenic just impressed me. It was the people. Just they're so down to earth, very transparent, and just a great team. Just a really good, solid culture. So really impressed me, and they really want to grow. So this role is relatively new for Scenic, and it's kind of like a whiteboard. We're building it as we go, which is really neat. I really enjoyed building that. So building this rollout, working hard to grow our brand. We've been in Lancaster for 36 years. So we've been around for quite a while, and looking to keep growing that brand in Harrisburg, York, Lebanon, Berks County, Chester County. We've done work in this area. We're looking to do a whole lot more work there as well.
For sure. Congrats on your 1 year as well. I saw that this morning.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
awesome. What does
Appreciate
the
it.
business development role kind of look like for people out there who might not know?
Great question. A lot of people think business development is just going to a lot of events. And while that's part of it, that's certainly not all of it. I like to call it building your spider web. I'm growing my spider web all the time. Think about a spider web. There's a central part, and then it branches out from there. But everything's connected. So as you grow your spider web, you're growing these connections. Some connections you talk to more often than others, but you're growing that spider web.
Yeah.
And the big part of that is collaboration. I'm a big collaborator. People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. So you really got to build that trust first. So really a business development role is I'm meeting with prospects, meeting with community leaders, I'm meeting with referral sources. So I'm just growing that Scenic Ridge brand as I build these relationships in these various counties. And we stay within about 2 hours of Lancaster. We'll out of that when it makes sense. But business development is truly just building relationships and gaining trust. And there's no easy button to do it. So as we're growing in other areas, I fully believe you have to have your feet physically there, meeting people and getting to know people. And it's about them first. You got to learn about the people and show a true, genuine interest in others to form that relationship. I know it sounds very cliche, but it really is about, that collaboration, those genuine relationships is really how it starts. And that takes a long time to develop some, but it's well worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Have you always had that kind of trait in you to being able to talk to people, learn about them, and just having a care for people?
I have. I've always been interested in people. I think that's why I love youth, coaching youth sports so much. I get to know the parents, I get to know the kids, I get to see the kids succeed. I did the same thing, in my career. I love when I was a leader, on sales team. I loved coaching our sales team. I love seeing them succeed. I did the same thing in youth sports, and I just am interested in people and I like people. I like to learn about people. Relationships are fun.
That was the main thing I got off just looking at your LinkedIn. Like, it's big on relationship connecting, and I feel like we've heard that many times. Like a lot of people in sales and stuff will tell you that, like, doesn't matter who you're building the connection with, you never know how that person can help you or you help them. That's a
Yeah.
really good point.
It's all about collaboration. It really is. How can we help each other?
Yep.
Absolutely.
You never know. You might not be able to work with them right then, but you never know where they might go in 10 years.
I've had that happen many times where I met somebody 15 or 20 years ago, at a whatever event, or for some reason we started talking and I thought they're really interesting. We talked, we might have grabbed coffee, we might not, but we've known each other. They're in each other's spider web. And then 10 years later, all of a sudden, oh my goodness, it makes sense to work together because of different career moves. Now it makes sense that we can collaborate and work together. But in the meantime, they're still part of your spider web and your network.
For sure. What's it mean to be that dynamic connector and the relationship builder?
Great question.
I know you kind of covered some of it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's just always looking for ways to connect with people. A lot of people, I don't like to call it networking because networking sounds very salesy. It's connecting. You are truly connecting with people, whether it's at an event. I'm very consistent on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great tool, but it's a tool. It's not the end all be all. Where if you have consistency there, you can grow awareness. But you really need to connect eyeball to eyeball with people to grow that trust. So that dynamic connector to me is growing that trust, growing that relationship, and really having a genuine interest in this person and seeing how you can collaborate together.
You think you have that kind of in you as being comfortable talking to people like that? Or you think that was, for me, that was kind of a skill I had to learn out of high school. I feel like I do better now, but it can be, especially early in your career, it can be intimidating a little bit.
For sure. And that
Networking events and
I think
stuff.
I've always had that in me, but I've gotten better and learned as I've, grown in my career. And my
Yeah.
mentors help a lot with that. I was fresh out of college. I don't know what I was doing. I had some awesome mentors that, took me to events and, taught me how to communicate with professionals. And so I was really fortunate to have some mentors that really helped me along the way to get a good foundation built so I could then take it and make that my own. So I took what they taught me and took pieces from each one and kind of made it my own and then built my own way of connecting with people.
yeah, and I think that's the hardest part is just getting out there to networking events. Like, I don't know if I would be at networking events if it wasn't for working here, but I think that's great for kids when they're 18 to 21 to just get out there and shake hands, connect with people, because we were pretty bad at it at first. I can remember we were at Barnstone Stadium and Dan found me and Alex in the hallway because we were a little nervous. But
Yeah.
we've been to over 100 events now, and it gets easier and easier every single time. And the more people you connect with and meet, it's a lot more comfortable when you walk into a room and you know a couple of people than to walk
100%.
into a room and you just don't know anyone. And that's fine if you don't know anyone, just get to know.
That's huge. And it can be very intimidating. If you walk in a room and you don't know anybody, I always tell people, I make it sound easy, but it's basically saying, hi, I'm Doug. What's your name? They'll tell me your name and, hey man, nice to meet you. What do you do? And that just gets the conversation going. You're learning about them. And at some point, they're probably going to say, well, what do you do? That's just how the conversation can get started and roll. And then you take it from there. But it seems very simple, but it can be very intimidating, especially if you're not used to doing it.
Yeah. But and it doesn't matter whether the event has 15 people or like the national events we go to. I think Vegas had 7,000 people.
Yeah.
You're obviously not going to meet everyone, but just get out there and just meet people. Like people know us from this dumpster talk. This is a thing we probably wouldn't have done unless we were here, but it's just being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and just putting yourself in those spots.
That's a great way to put it. And a lot of people, when they go to an event, they put a lot of pressure on themselves. I need to get, X amount of leads out of this event. I like to kind of switch that and say, hey, instead of putting that much pressure on yourself, go relax, have fun, talk to people, and maybe have a goal of having a couple meaningful conversations, at this event instead of I have to get a certain amount of leads and hand out a certain amount of business cards.
Yeah.
So that sometimes to take that pressure off, and if you're relaxed, other people will be relaxed as well.
Yep, for sure. I feel like a lot of people go into events like wanting something instant gratification from it right away, but you might go to 10 events and not get any business out of it, but you're meeting people and you're getting a brand out there, which is the most important part, I think.
Well, that's very true, and it can be a long sales cycle. My role is to grow our brand and get more business in for our company, and sometimes build relationships that have very quick turn time, where it's an opportunity that comes up right away. Sometimes it takes a while, and other times it could take years. But I look at it as you're planting seeds. Now you're planting seeds, and some of those seeds you're going to harvest either quickly, or it may take a while to harvest it. But you're planting seeds, and that's huge.
For sure. So, what would you say the importance of LinkedIn would be? Because we're out there a lot in the community, and people are like, "Why would I? I'm working in construction. Why would I be on LinkedIn?" What has kind of been the importance to you for that?
I think everybody should have a LinkedIn profile. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Some people aren't as active, and that's okay. I think of LinkedIn as a professional Facebook. Facebook is, how do you find out, at least my generation, how do I find out what my friends and high school friends are doing? I might not have talked to them for years, but I kind of feel like I'm keeping up with them because it's on Facebook.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is like that acceptable company. So on our LinkedIn account, I will post a lot about the various projects we do. So a lot of people know us for our expertise in steel construction. But we also do wood frame construction as well. And some folks don't realize what a wide scope of projects we do. So I will post our design build projects. We do very large design build projects from humongous, facilities down to very small renovations. But we also have a construction services area where we will do a ton of steel fabrication. So we will steel fab projects for other contractors. We've got our own cranes so we can hang in steel as well. We have concrete. We'll do small concrete projects. We'll do, a small scope excavation. We have fleet services. So I try to be active on LinkedIn just to let people know about our brand and what we really do. And then people recognize Scenic. I've heard of Scenic before. It's probably because they've seen me at an event or LinkedIn or somehow they've heard of Scenic, and that's the goal. They've heard of Scenic and at least the name is familiar.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn helps, like, people feel like they know you when you post. Like, we post a lot of videos of, like, hopper prices and stuff like that. And when we go to an event, people are like, I feel like I know you from the videos. And it's kind of like a nice icebreaker.
Well, your team at Sahd is super creative. I mean, that's awesome. You guys are super creative. You take, metal recycling. It's not just a typical metal recycling. You guys are like cool metal recycling, right? But you are very creative with that, and that helps build that brand. So when I think of metal recycling, I don't think of anybody but Sahd. But that's what you're doing with your brand. That's what you're doing with this podcast. I mean, this is very creative stuff that you're doing. So how can you differentiate and get people to remember your name? That's really what it's about. And then get to know you from there.
We appreciate that. We're really lucky in the scrap industry. The bar is kind of set pretty low, and we're a small company, like 13, 14 people. So it feels really good to go like the national events and seeing these companies that have 180 scrap yards in the United States, and they know us, our little one scrap yard. It's kind of a nice gratification, just showing that the things that we're doing are kind of working.
Absolutely. It's just about staying visible and consistent.
Yep, consistency, definitely the key.
And that just, again, goes back to that people want to work with people they know, like, and trust. That's how you stay consistent, have people know you, and you get to know them, they like you, and they eventually, they need to trust you to work with you. That's really what.
Yeah. And cool opportunities come from it. Like, we got to do a dumpster talk in Vegas this year.
I saw that.
And we interviewed Kubi, and he's one of the top guys at SA Recycling, and they're one of the biggest in the country and the world, honestly. So it's just those cool opportunities to learn from people like that we might not have that chance to without them.
When you said a key thing to learn, constantly learning. So how you become a dynamic, connected relationship builder. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly learning about other people, them personally, their companies, what they do. I ask people all the time, what's your ideal client? I'm looking to help you as well. What's your ideal client? So learning is huge. So as you stay visible and stay out there, you're constantly learning all the time.
Absolutely.
When we talk about like you building those connections to help, what do you? What's like a goal of yours at Scenic Ridge that you'd kind of like to see happen while you go down this road of building your connections and also building the business up?
Great question. Uh, my big goal is to gain more projects. Harrisburg, York, Lancaster, Lebanon area. Again, we do some work there now, but not as much as we like. So a big goal is to grow that way. Um, Another big goal is again just to keep our variety and scope of projects consistent. So as far as we're doing big design build projects, our construction services area. So I'm trying to grow that brand as a whole to keep we have a team of 150 team
I was going to
members.
ask you.
You know, we have a nice sized team. We have a 30-acre campus just outside of Lancaster. We do our own steel fab right on site. So we have a very robust, experienced team. So keeping our team busy with new opportunities coming in is my main goal.
I like going to your facility because it's like a college campus, kind of.
It
Like
kind of
there's the
is.
different buildings. I'm in peer group or my peer group with Matt Herr.
Yes. Yep.
So
Yeah.
he did his review at your facility, which was a really nice place.
Well, it's pretty cool. So I'll once in a while when it's warmer, I'll do campus tours, and we have a golf cart. Like a four-person golf cart that I can take people around and do a tour of our campus. So it is pretty cool. Again, it's not anything earth-shattering, but it is a very cool campus, and we do a lot of stuff on that
It's
campus.
impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what's your favorite part of your day?
The variety. I love the variety of my day. On Mondays, I'm typically in our office in Lancaster. We have our sales meeting, and I'm typically there for on-site meetings. The rest of my week, I could be in York, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Lebanon, Berks, Chester. So I love the variety, and I love the different types of people and things that I do. And I may be in our Lancaster office as well at any given day of the week. So I like the variety. Each day is different, and I really, really like that. And I don't just do the relationship building piece. I do help with some of our marketing things like that. So my role has a lot of the facets to it, and kind of keep growing it. So I just love the variety. No day is the same.
That's awesome. So did I hear you do work in Chester County?
We do. We do work in Chester County as well. Yeah.
We're supposed to go to college down there. That's
Oh, really?
the only reason I'm asking.
I have some friends that went to Westchester. So.
Yeah, we're gonna be roommates at Widener.
Okay.
But we graduated during COVID, so it's
Yeah.
kind of a crazy time. That shows kind of everything works out great, but we ended up here, which ended up perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
For sure. What's I know you kind of hit on the baseball aspect, but what are other things that you like to do outside of work?
It's family time. I'm not going to work. It's family time. My kids are involved in a lot. Whether it's sports or my kids both play instruments. My son plays the trumpet. My daughter plays the clarinet. So going to their various concerts. My daughter's in Girl Scouts. So just being involved with my kids and their activities is fun. You can't take that for granted. And I know that probably heard a lot of people say, time flies. The days are long and the years are short, so I really try to focus on family when I'm not at work because you don't get that time. Earlier in my career, before I had kids, I traveled a lot. When we were growing the bank, I was traveling probably 20 weeks a year all over the country, doing trade shows and meeting with builders for our construction loan program, which was a ton of fun. So, I had the opportunity to travel all over the country when I was in my 20s and 30s, and it was fantastic. But when I started to have a family, I'm like, you know what? I want to be present at home with my kid. And then again, there's nothing wrong with having a job that takes you traveling. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I found the fit for me is that I would rather be off the road and with a company where for most of the time I'm at home in the evenings with the family.
Yeah, that's important to know your why. I feel like that can get away from you quick,
Yep.
especially with working and being busy trying to grow a company.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your why is huge. Mine's, faith, family, career, and just because career is third does not mean I don't work really, really hard, but it just means that, that's my priority and that really works for me. And if I have those priorities, I'm good in all three of those areas. And then I'm great with my family and great with my job, then you're not going to burn out. I burn out in my career several times. Your priorities is flipped, whatever your personal priorities are, just make sure you got your priorities in line because then it does avoid that burnout.
For sure, it's definitely something to watch. I mean, we don't have kids yet or anything, and we don't travel as much, but that's definitely something to keep in mind, knowing your why, because I feel like it can get away from you. But
Well, and a business trip once in a while is a ton of fun. It really is.
absolutely,
It really is. So again, I said there's nothing wrong with having a career where you travel a bunch if that's a fit for you. So you just have
Yeah.
to kind of make your choice and make sure that your career and your priorities are a fit for you.
yeah, we've been able to travel to some really cool places, and Dan has the golden rule as, like, for instance, if we go to Vegas for a 5 day trade show, whether we fly out early that morning when we leave, we're coming to work to show just that even though we're out having fun working, we're not scared to come back and come back to the ground.
Absolutely. And when you go on a trip, have fun with it. On a business trip, I used to go on a lot of trips, and if I would go through a city, I remember one time I was driving through Cincinnati for some reason, and I saw the Reds were playing. Big baseball fan, right? I was on the way to the hotel, so I just stopped and went to the game. I just got to the hotel later. But take those opportunities when you're traveling. Take those opportunities to do something different. Especially as a team, it helps you really grow your team. Most times I traveled with our team. That was a lot of fun. We
Yeah.
got very close, and it was just a ton of fun traveling with the team. But enjoy it. Just enjoy each season. Enjoy each season.
And you learn a lot from it. Like, um, we would come home, work right away. We'd kind of get a bigger scope of what this industry is, because we're working here most days out of the year. So to be able to go once or twice a year to kind of see how big the industry truly is and meet people from California, Idaho, places you never thought you'd have connections. And they're doing the same stuff you're doing every day, just in a different state.
Right.
So it's cool to get that bigger kind of scope.
Well, and you guys are early in your career. Getting that opportunity early in your career is fantastic. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So you just happen to work for a team that, the leadership believes in giving you opportunities and growing you. That is awesome. You don't find that everywhere. And
Yep.
that is fantastic. You guys have that opportunity.
And I think that's important for like young people kind of starting off their career. I feel like a lot of my friends, for instance, they're looking for like the highest dollar, but that's not what it's always about. If you do what you're supposed to do, that will come. But getting those opportunities and working for a company that wants to grow you as a person instead of being a number, I think it might not work for everyone, but it's worked great for us.
Well, you made a great point. Yeah, we work to earn money so we can afford things, right? But money is not everything. And you're right. If you find a company where the culture is a fit for you, you love what you do, has great leadership, the income will be there. You'll get there. The income will be there. But if you work for a place where you're making some great income, but you absolutely hate what you're doing, you may need to do that for a season in life, but in the end, you will probably burn out from that. So I really think it's key to find a place you love, a culture that's a fit for you, and a place where you feel like you're growing. And that's a win, man.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have a favorite project that you can remember that you were a part of?
Being here only a year, and I'm on the business development side, I'm a lot of times on the very front end of things. But some favorite projects that we have done, we built Messick's off of 283, and that was before I came on board. But the cool story with Messick's,
The
and they're
place is crazy.
oh, they're,
The
they're such a
warehouse.
fantastic company, such a fantastic family. Um, we built that in 11 months. So we actually have a video time lapse of dirt to them moving equipment in was 11 months. So again, I wasn't part of Scenic Ridge at that time, but just a cool story of how we really had the project come together. So that's a really, really good project.
I think that was
Um,
like what, maybe like 3 years ago, or I think I went to an event maybe 2 or 3 years
yeah,
ago there,
yeah,
and there was guys from Scenic Ridge kind of talking about how they put it together and everything.
yeah. That was a really, really cool project. And kind of a project that is maybe a bit unique. I mean, we did a dog daycare, in Manhunt, and it has an outdoor pool. We just did an expansion to add some things. So we've done some really neat projects that are small scale, some large scale. So we do quite a scope. A lot of times I look for a project list and I'm like, wow, I didn't really did that project. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing as I go through our current projects and our past projects and before I joined, just the scope and variety of what we've done.
Yeah.
It has to feel good going in and helping out a customer that needs it. For what you were saying and from your website, you guys seem like a one-stop shop. What's kind of been that importance? Because I'm sure you guys weren't always that, but that's like the sign of growth, being that one stop shop for a customer. What's kind of the importance of that? that you see?
We're full service. I mean, I think, and I've been with the company for a year. We've been around for 36. But I think the way that we kind of became that one-stop shop is that, hey, we started doing steel buildings, and steel building, we need concrete. We need a pad excavated, so we started doing some small scale of that, and then we need to get the beams up. So let's get a crane and do the beams, and we kept growing, and then we got a lot of trucks, a lot of vehicles, a lot of things to repair. Well, let's do our own repairs because it's more convenient and cost effective. And we have a large shop now. Well, we can do fleet services for other companies as well. So I think that just built out of necessity, and as we did more projects, we just became very self-sufficient. And with us, I mean, clients call us for small building repairs, replace a leak in the roof or replace their roof. And then we have projects, the size of Messick's and everywhere in between. So it is pretty cool to be able to be out there and know that our team can be that one-stop shop for many clients. And it's a great way to form relationships, a great way to form relationships. To, hey, you work with somebody on this project and it went really well then, maybe we'll get an opportunity to do some bigger things together as well.
For sure. I always think about it. I mean, I don't even have a home yet, so I'm not getting anything built for me. But I always think if I was, that I would want to work with a company that's a one-stop shop instead of having to work with 6 different companies to get one job complete. It's less stress for the customer, which is all that matters.
Well, it's important to me too, where I'll talk to clients where the project may not be a fit for us for whatever reason. It's important to me that I can at least get that client to the next step. So I will look for someone I can refer them to that can help them, or at least can get them to the next step in the process. So if it's not a fit for us, we'll tell the prospect right away, the client's not a fit. But here's someone you can call that may be able to help you. So that's really important to be able to move people to that next step.
And that shows a lot about your company and your integrity, being able to, knowing that you can't, or you might not be the best person to help, but still giving them options. I feel like a lot of companies wouldn't do that.
Well, and that's putting clients' needs first, right?
Yep.
It's all about the client's needs, and meeting their needs, and really you're there for that.
For sure. Do you have anything else? We have a finale question that we always like to wrap up. Do you have anything that you would like to cover?
No, guys, this has been great. Again, I'm very impressed. I told you before, I'm so impressed with your Dumpsters Talks and just how creative you guys and your team is. It's just super cool. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I will say, if you haven't had a tour of Sahd, you need to come down for a tour because it is really, really impressive. It really is.
We appreciate that. Like
you.
I said, it's been great meeting you. We do part 2s to these as well, so this might not be your last time if you want to come back.
Fantastic. I'd love to.
But if you want to wrap it up with the finale question that we always end with.
We like to kind of ask everyone if you were kind of starting off in your career, what would be some advice you wish you got, and what would you pass that on to the younger generation?
Have a mentor or a few. Someone that you can just pick their brain. Maybe it could be someone that's further along in their career than you, but pick their brains that you can kind of schedule a coffee with somebody, maybe, once every other month. But just have that mentor that you can pick their brain and say, you just asked me, if you had your career to do over, is there anything you would change? What are the good things you did that helped you along your career? Maybe what are some of the mistakes you made that you would think twice about? But have a mentor that you can just pick their brain and they can give you some really good, solid feedback.
Great advice. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Sure.